Hey guys, Seth here, long time between videos as I usually say. So, while I'm talking and running my mouth, you guys get to look at my Phaelon Reaper. It's basically just a small customization on a Higo. Basically just a regular Higo with the Reaper Suba, made by a very good friend. And we're going to get back to the point of the video. So, sword porn while I run my mouth. So, a lot of people don't know what happened to me back in October. So I'm going to just clarify what happened to me. Bottom line is, before I get started, I could have died from this, and I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful for my wife standing beside me, my parents coming to visit me, and my boss at my job understanding and being there for me. So let me just start from the beginning. I'm not the skinniest guy in the world, so I occasionally get boils on my legs just from the heat and, whatever. So one day I had a boil pop up on the inside of my right thigh, and I tended to pop it just like I normally do. But the problem is it didn't come to a head yet, and I popped it thinking that it was going to just bust and drain like it usually does, but I didn't make sure it had a head on it. So when I popped it, I felt it like gush, but I looked down, there was no blood or pus or anything, right? So it busted under the skin. So I waited about a day. I started to not feel too good, and then I did it again, felt it bust again, and then it still didn't have a head on it. So I went to work, and I told one of the HR managers, hey, I did this and this. And she's like, damn, you're going to probably get a fever or whatever because it's bleeding out under your skin. And I was like, now that you mentioned it, I did feel kind of hot. So I started feeling really bad at work. I made it through that day, barely. I did leave an hour early because I couldn't do it anymore. I felt so weak. So the next day I went in and I was barely able to walk. I was in a lot of pain. I didn't know what the hell was happening to me. So I get in, I get my radio and everything from the office and start my day. And I'm walking past my boss, and he looks at me and he goes, Seth, are you all right? I'm like, and I just stopped what I was doing, and I just shook my head and I said, no, sir, I'm not. And I about fell out right there. He's like, well, just go home. I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. Just text me, let me know how you're doing. Whatever. So I thought with some rest, whatever, it would be okay. I think I was off the very next day, so I took that day off, and I tried to come back to work a few times. Every time I got in, I was feeling worse and worse, weaker and weaker. The pain in my leg was getting worse until it finally came up around my groin. And I'll paint over here just so you guys can kind of see. So right here, right in this area right here, a wound started to emerge. And it turned black. It like this. It kind of have a scab over it, and it was black, like as black as the Ito on my Phaelon here. And I thought, okay, it's gonna come to a head, it's gonna drain out, and it's gonna be okay. No, it kept draining and draining and draining and draining and draining and bleeding. I mean, I would sit there here on the couch, and I would look down, and I would see blood on the floor. So I knew it wasn't good. But me being a hard-headed motherfucker, I was like, I'll just get some antibiotics from a friend that has a script, and now I'll take it and I'll be okay. So I took all of my health and wellness days, which is basically sick days, and finally my boss said, look, I can't approve any more days for you until you get a doctor's note. So I was like, okay, well, I might have to go to the doctor, it looks like, just to get approval. So I go in there, and I'm thinking, okay, he's going to look at me and give me some antibiotics. He's going to bandage me up, maybe send me on my way. Oh, no, that was not in the cards for me, my friends. I get to the doctor, and it was one of those little med stop type of deals, quick thing. You go in and out or whatever, and because I didn't think it was that serious. So I wait in the waiting room for about 30 minutes, finally, because the doctor can see me. I walk back there, and he's like, well, what are you here for? And I tell him, and he's like, okay, well, you need to drop your pants and show me. And me being who I am is kind of weird, because I haven't been to the doctor since I was a kid. And I guess I should have been. And so when I drop my drawers and I tell him it's been draining, he's like, well, it's a good thing it's been draining. And when he sees the wound, the opening, he's like, oh, hell no. The doctor literally said, oh, hell no, to me. He's like, sir, you need to go to the ER like 2 days ago. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you have necrotizing fasciitis. And that's, if you don't know what that is, it's a flesh-eating infection. And I could have died from it. And he's like, you need to go to the doctor right now. So he gave me the address to the ER down the street from where I was. I'm thinking, okay, well, they're going to do the same thing. Maybe I'll get an antibiotic. I didn't know I needed surgery right then. So I get there, and I'm laying in the bed, and in the hospital bed. They took all kind of blood work and everything, turned me to a pincushion, and they tell me that there's no surgeon there. I'm like, well, what do you need a surgeon for? It's like, sir, you need surgery. You have to have that cut out, or you're going to die. And I'm like, holy shit. And I'm so terrified, so scared, and my wife couldn't get back there with me right then because of whatever. So it was just me laying in a bed, getting pricked every 30, 40 minutes for blood work and whatever. And on a side note, I found out I was diabetic. My blood sugar was over 400 when I went in there. And I got that under control, so I'm on insulin now, so my blood sugars are anywhere between 90 and 115 most of the time now that I got it under control. Which, yay for me, I found out, didn't die from that. But finally they came and told me that, well, we have no surgery in Warner Robins. We're going to transfer you to Macon, Georgia, and they're going to operate on you when they get a chance, in a day or so. I'm like, okay, well, at least I get to rest in a bed. So I get so they throw me in an ambulance, like almost literally. The guys driving the ambulance literally took me off the bed with the sheet and flung me onto a little gurney thing they used. And it was like riding a roller coaster to the fucking Macon hospital. So I get there, the on-site, the on-duty surgeon, I guess like junior surgeon or whatever you want to call him, looks at me. He's like, well, I need to talk to my head surgeon. His name was Dennis Ashley, because you look like you need to go in there right now. He comes in there, the senior surgeon or whatever comes in there. He's like, oh yeah, we have to operate right now. So I went from thinking I'm going to get an antibiotic and go home and rest it off to I had to have major surgery in man area. So my wife is at home trying to take care of our daughter and everything, get all that squared away. So I'm in the hospital alone. And they rolled me into the OR. They gassed me and I pass out. That's the first surgery. And then I'm hooked up to a machine in the hospital that's, sucking all the goop and garbage out of my wound and everything while I'm trying to heal up. And I had to have 2 more surgeries after that. I thought it would be like 1 more, but no, it was 3 total. I was in the hospital for 9 days because of this bullshit, because of just a stupid boil on my leg. It turned into all that crap. So after 9 days, I'm released from the hospital. I have to come home and have a wound vacuum attached to me. It's basically a little thing. It's about the size of a tablet as far as the height, but as far as its width and depth, it's like about the size of like a book bag or whatever. And what it does, it has a little suction cup that attaches to your wound dressing, and as you drain fluid and you bleed a little bit or whatever, it takes that out and clean, keeps it clean or whatever as your wound heals. I also had a nurse coming in here in my home every other day, checking on me, changing my wound dressing, and monitoring my vitals. And I didn't even know how serious this infection was until after I was pretty much all healed up, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna Google this shit. It is a terrifying thing, and that was the closest I've ever come to death, and it made me really rethink a lot of things in my life. I'm glad to be here, and yeah, it was just a bad time. I want to thank everyone that's reached out to me to check on me. No one hardly knew as far as the sore community. I didn't even tell Eric, I don't think, because it was just kind of an embarrassing thing. I mean, I had a wound on me the size of a baked potato, split open. It was 5 centimeters deep. They could see my muscles and the fat under my skin, and when they operated on me, I guess they caused a lot of nerve damage. Just cut all that shit out because my leg right here is numb. I have just very little feeling in it right now. I'm hoping that comes back, but if not, oh well. It's the price of being alive. So the wound vacuum came off around the middle of December. I saw my surgeon on the 18th of December, and he said I look great, everything was healing up good. So I'm back to work now, and the scar / wound doesn't hurt, but it kind of aches every now and then, and but it's pretty much closed up. It's going to be a horrible scar there for the rest of my life. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's what happened to me. I didn't make a video really on YouTube. I put a couple of videos, saying, hey, I was in the hospital, but I never really explained what happened and how it happened to me. But I was lucky enough to have a good job to where I'm at, to where I was approved to be out, to where I would get paid, and my job would be there when I got back. So there's that. God's great, takes care of you. But anything like that ever happens to you guys, if you got a bull and there's no head, don't try to pop that motherfucker. Wait till it's got a head. Don't try to put a needle in there or nothing, or anything crazy like that. Just let nature take its course. Or you may end up like me. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. Some sword porn, a little story time. But rest assured, Freestyle Swordsman is healthy again. He's safe. His blood sugar's under control. His wound's almost healed up. He's back to work. And you can expect some more videos. Special shout out again to Orion. I know if he's watching this, he's probably smiling right now. He's one of my people that I supervise at my job, and he's like the most awesome guy in the world. So, Orion, appreciate you. Bethany, if you watch this, I love you more than anything, babe. And to everybody else, you guys have a great one. Peace, and we'll see you next time.